Welcome to Heal With Us podcast. We have a great show for you today, a great podcast for you. We have my dad, Sergeant Glen Warren. He's going to talk to us about a lot of things. But first, I'm Ebony Habanero.
And my name is Ufuma Yibo.
And I'm Glen Warren.
I'm glad to have you here. So we're gonna take a moment to just kind of do some introduction. If you could tell us, Mr. Warren, a little bit more about yourself, just some
Okay.
background information so our listeners can get
Well,
to know you.
well, as I said before, I'm Glen Warren, Ebony's dad, and two other girls' dad. My current occupation is a military contractor with the U.S. Navy down in Key West right now. So what I actually do is maintain the emergency environmental systems on the aircraft fighter F-5, which we use for dissimilar aircraft, basically so they can recognize aircraft and do dogfighting, which not a lot of that's done anymore because of our smart missiles and bombs. But just in case they need to be able to maneuver. My military career spanned it, basically was two different types. My active duty was from 1980 to 1992. And some people ask why you didn't do the 20, sir. Well, because they had the audacity to ask me if I wanted to get paid to get out. So I took it. And when I went out, I went into the reserves. I did do some special things. I had some special, I guess, talents that they want to utilize. So they gave me some provisions and on what to do. So I went into reserves after that. And in the reserves, I went into a program called the Air Reserve Technician, which is a civilian employee for DOD that works on the airplanes, pretty much like what I do here.
Mm-hmm.
But you also were in the reserves. So we had to do deployments. We drilled every weekend. Ebony should be familiar with that. And I did that for 18 years.
Wow.
So total combined 30 years of military service.
Wow.
If you would have
Thank you for
told
your
me that,
service, Dad.
I'm not going to say nothing to you about that thanks to your service stuff, like I say to other people, because I know where you're coming from. So with all of that, the particular job that I did for the Air Force was ejection seats that had explosives and things of that nature. I also was a small arms instructor. So I taught people how to fire the M16, the M203 grenade launcher, the M60. At the same time, I was a civilian, a dad, a husband, a friend, brother. And it all tied in together, and it did what it was supposed to do for me, what I expected. Didn't expect to stay as long as I did.
Right.
But once you get kids, your outlook changes.
Right.
So I had two girls that had to be taken care of. So I stayed. I stayed, and since I've been a contractor, I've worked around the world, actually. I was in UAE, which is where Dubai and Abu Dhabi is, for 5.5 years, and then left that contract, went to New Mexico, and then came here. So, and this is
Where's
it.
Here, Dad?
Yeah, this is it. This is the last stand. I'll retire for sure at the end of the year. I said I was last year, but this year I know I am. So, but yeah.
That's a great career. Long career. So what motivated you to enlist in the military?
I needed a job.
No.
Good answer. Good answer.
You know who your big mama was and your granny. I needed a job. They wasn't taking care of me. they had did their time and let me go.
Why that
Uh,
job though?
huh?
Why that job?
That job, this
You
job?
say you needed a job, but why
Yeah, yeah.
specifically
Well,
military?
well, at that time, 1980, every other commercial, matter of fact, military recruitment commercials, I would say was, especially on Saturday on radio and TV, was probably 75% of the market. So I knew I didn't want to do no army because I had an uncle that was in the army and stepdads that were in the army. Now I like sleeping in the bed. Air Force was my best chance to sleep in the bed. So I did that. Now the job I took, I really got suckered into it because it's 1980, and on the printout it said I would be working with computer bench mock-up systems. That didn't happen, but it stimulated me. So that's why I went that route. And then like I said, I changed some things. I've been an EEO officer, a mediator. I mediate. I would volunteer to mediate in family court. So things of that nature. So it started something that kept piquing my interest in other things. Just because you start somewhere don't mean that's where you have to finish.
That's a message.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. It sounds very diverse for sure.
Yeah. Was it always great in the military? No, it was not. Desert Storm was bad. It was bad, and everything after it was bad because it was all eyes. And see, I won't even get into that. So anyway, but it served somebody else's purpose, not ours, as regular military people and civilians that are viewing this from a different view. But was it rewarding? Well, yeah. I got to see some places I only read about as a poor little kid growing up in a little town of Lamar, Texas. I just read about it, and I was able to go. I saw the pyramids. I saw the Nile River in Africa. It opened up my eyes that the environment that I was in shaped me a lot of my early days. But to know that there's a world where people, just because they don't look like you or they're not where you are, that they're not people. I enjoyed it. Now, was there bad places? Oh, yes, it was. Very bad places. And even in the United States. Abby was little when they came visit us in New York, but they came in the summer.
Wow.
Those were harsh places to live. I'm like, when we left there, we got on 95 South, and we haven't been past really South Carolina, North Carolina, as far as going north. But it's interesting because I'm looking at things now and having to work side by side with young people now as a contractor.
Yeah.
Not the same people we were. The disciplines are not the same. We didn't have this technology. And they have everything at their fingertips, so they don't have to do this. But there are still ones that aren't privileged. So the unprivileged ones come in, they do what they need to do, they get their GI Bill, which is very lucrative now, and they get their education. I have a young man that I adopted basically in New Mexico. He got his education. He's like, oh no, 4 years, I'm done. Right. I don't care what rank they want to give me. And a lot of them turned the rank down. Wow. Back when I was in, you were looking for that because it increased your pay. Well, they don't care about that. All they care about is getting their education, and then they'll make their way to increase their pay themselves. So yeah, but it also made it hard for us old heads that were still around. I before I retired, I had to still be a supervisor and a leader in uniform. And I just got asked questions that just did not make sense to me. When I said, when I give you an assignment, you don't say to me, "Oh, why I got to do it." I'm like, hold on, wait a minute. I'm trying to help this fellow get his training done. Now, what did you say? Well, I got to do it, man. If you don't get out of my face, and I didn't say it like that nice, but yeah, whole different world. So they see it different, and I understand that we evolve as a world, we evolve as a country, or at least we're supposed to evolve as a country. America has I guess we say we had the military might from the beginning, but we really didn't. And now we are kind of falling behind, I think, anyway. Now we got some technology out there, but you're taking away the human factor though. And machines, yeah, they do what they do. But we still got to fix them when they break down. So, a $250 million jet for one, and we got over 100. A lot of money. We spend a lot of money. So we need to maintain these things. So that was one of the things. That's one of the things that's going to suffer because we're not getting the recruitment. These kids are not. They don't bid more. They just. I mean, mine, for example, I don't think Ebony and Naughty even considered it, and I know their little sister did. She didn't want nothing to do with it. She hardly wanted to see us do it. So
yeah. And I think that has a lot to do with the fact that we lived that life.
Yeah.
And for some people, they live it and they embrace it. Some of us were like, I don't want to put my children through moving every 2 years, every 3 years.
Yeah.
That could be the defining. But then I went and married somebody in the military, so go figure.
Say that.
Exactly. So go figure. I don't know.
Yeah.
So let me ask. Let's ask you this, Daddy. Hold on. How can you share a defining moment or an experience from your time in the service that maybe had like one moment that if you look back on your career, that you're like, this was this, and it could have been before, maybe it was your decision, but what's a defining moment you think?
Well, actually, I have to give you this in like 3 stages. When I first came in, I was stationed in Louisiana, right? You still had Vietnam guys in the military. And man, did they now them dudes, they worked hard, but they party hard. Here a funny story is I came in and on Tuesdays, these guys always carried these quarters. A roll of quarter, that's $10. And I'm like, man, do y'all laundry on the same day? It's like they looked at me, young blood. No, young blood. It's 25-cent beer night at the NCO club. I'm thinking that's a lot of beer, right? so, but even in that had to it had to evolve. Because with that, you get DUIs, you get accidents, you get so even as a world and a country we evolve, the military is usually the one that kind of sets the pace because it's a sub ecosystem, I guess you could say.
Yeah, like its own culture.
Yeah, and you get a lot of research out of it too, because we can't say no. So they I got shots. I don't know what them shots were. A lot of them. Now, when we went into the anthrax years, then you could see that some people were electrocuted because it harmed their bodies. So, but like the U.S. government and the U.S. military, you deny. You deny until almost everybody done died off. A perfect example is Agent Orange. Another example is mesothelioma during World War II and older ship classes and stuff that had asbestos wrapping the pipes that you're actually sleeping in your berthings on ships. So there's drawbacks like that, but the defining moment was when I saw those Vietnam guys, how they lived their lives. And then I had to wonder, why do they, man, I mean, they over the edge. But I talked to one time, and he was stationed in the Air Force at Da Nang Air Force Base. They got hammered every night. Wow. And they kind of knew when they was going to really get hammered because none of the locals would show up to work on the base. So they get prepared to get hammered, but they survive. And he used to tell me, man, guys would gamble their whole checks in poker games and shooting dice. Wow. Because tomorrow you may not be here.
Wow.
So that opened my eyes. And the second thing would be when my daughter, when Ebony was born, I had to make a decision to be a parent, to continue to do this. If I continue to do this, which I have to, that's how I'm getting paid. That's how I have to clothe and feed her and her sister. So that was what it does is it draws you into where you have to do and need to do because they didn't ask to be here.
I'm so sorry.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, speaking of surviving, how did you maintain that balance between your personal life and during like your military duties, especially during
well, I listened to those old Vietnam guys. They was like, man, this is business. You don't mix business with pleasure. You don't mix business with home. And sometimes you don't mix pleasure with home. So they taught me how to keep everything separated and organized. So I was able to do that. I actually listened. I didn't listen. Some things I didn't listen to them for. I volunteered for a lot of stuff that they would ask. Back in the day, every Thursday they would put out one single sheet of paper and have all stuff, the happenings in this. And on that paper, it also had numbers. Need volunteers, just come to personnel and give them this number. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna try that. Even though they told me don't never volunteer for nothing. So I did. Well, that first one, you thought it would have cured me. It was an aircraft crash where the crew member didn't get out. So we're looking for parts, body parts, everything. So yeah. I stayed away from a while, but then I went back to it because I also was able to get some things that I know I wouldn't have been able to get otherwise, like survival, like jungle survival, desert survival, stuff like that. But I guess to say all that to say this and bring it up, fast forward to now. The young people now don't have that motivation because it's there. The world is literally right in front of you, like right now. You know how much money I could have saved if we had this technology when you stationed in England? Man, if you talk too long in England on the phone, you had to get a loan to pay the bill. Now it's just, okay, hey. And, so technology is a wonder and it's beautiful, but it also makes us weak. See, you can listen to the pundits, you can listen to what they say on TV, the news. And news is a business now. It's just a business, and they got to stay in business. So they're gonna give you what gonna keep you tuned in. We're suffering. Our recruiting is suffering. Our enemies know it. Our enemies know it.
Yeah. So what advice would you give to somebody, Daddy, that's considering enlisting today? Like, if you could pitch.
If I was doing the pitches,
And that was part 1 of our military episode. Check out part 2 in the same place that you found this one. As always, heal with us. You can email us with any questions at healwithus@atlantatreatmentcenter.org. Thank you for listening.